enrollment of the students in a section, right? Now, because this is a bidirectional relationship, meaning that I should be able to ask, right? If I have a student, I should be able to ask, what are the sections, right? What are the sections that this student is enrolled in? But I should be able to answer the inverse question. Here's a section. I want to know what the students are enrolled in that section, right? So for that, we could implement it here in this controller. But notice that all these queries that we've been manipulating, querying the database or adding to the database, has always started from the student's point of view, right? So it falls naturally that all these live in the student controller. That if you're going to be operating and retrieving things for the section, that you would have a separate controller that deals only with sections, right? So it's a nice even distribution of the workload here. So let's create a section controller, which we have here, right? That we use for creating the sections. And in here, let's retrieve. Maybe let's retrieve all the sections. So we say get mapping, find me all the sections. Oops. All right, public. And this will be a list of section, and this is find all sections. So let's retrieve all the sections. So we have a repository to do that very easily. So it would be, we're going to return the section repository dot find all, and we're going to convert this to we're going to cast it to a list of sections, right? So we run that. There's a perfectly RESTful API, perfect, because we're doing a read and we are asking for that particular noun or plural of nouns. So here's all our sections, right? There's our 2 sections, okay? But yet, just like we did the enrollment from the student's point of view, just like we did the enrollment from the student point of view, whereas the enroll student in section, we want to be able to do it the same way. It's a very sensible thing that from the registrar's office, I want to enroll this student in that section or that student in that section, as opposed to a student finding a section to enroll in. Right? From the student's point of view, I see a whole bunch of sections that I want to enroll in. Right? From the registrars, instead, what I see is one section, and I have many students that I can enroll in that section. Right? So it's a complete reversal of the use case. Right? So if we grab this and we move over to the controller, to the section, it's very sensible that I can do it. My URL might be backwards, right? Where I'm starting from the section, right? And I want to enroll this student, right? I navigate to the section and I can enroll this student and I can enroll the other student, right? As opposed to me being a student, I see a whole bunch of sections that I want to enroll in. All right, so we have those. We don't have the student repository, so we can grab the student repository. So AutoWire, and this would be student repository. So student repository, there it is. But notice that even though the relationship is inverse, okay, even though the relationship is inverse, notice that as we mentioned earlier, because the join table was declared on the student side, right? The way we implement it is we manipulate it always from where the join table was declared, from the student side. Right? So we're still going to do student.getSections, sections, add the section to the student, and then save the student. Right? So the operation is identical, implemented in both cases the same way. The only difference is that it's being exposed as a different URL. See that? Right? Again, because it's implementing 2 different use cases. Me as a student, I'm enrolling a section, or me as a registrar, I'm enrolling a student in a section, right? And again, it's bidirectional. Oops. So save. So let's restart this. And let's see what enrollments we already have. So these are the enrollments. Let's see, we have enrollment. We have Student 2 in section 2. All right, so let's enroll student 2 in section 1. Okay, they're not in section 1 yet. So let's do that. So the endpoint would be that it would be sections, what section? 1, right? And students 2, is it? Yes, 2. Right, so if I do that, right, it comes back that Bob now is also enrolled in section 1, right? So if I refresh, notice that the two endpoints do exactly the same thing, right? It's only that logically, right, they're being exposed to perhaps two different user interfaces, right? The user interface that you use from Blackboard to enroll in courses, as opposed to the user interface, maybe your user interface is implemented with React, blah, 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 whatever. And so some other user interface implemented by the registrar, it's an old, Angular 1.6, whatever, that is using a different URL, right? But the implementation is the same, but logically they're being exposed as two different URLs.